Come on in, y'all. I'm back. This is part 2 of the dinner. This is going to be the actual meal. What's on the menu today, by the way, is fried chicken, some nice broccoli casserole, nice and cheesy, and I'm going to do creamed potatoes. So right now, though, I'm going to go ahead and get my broccoli casserole going with all this nice cheese. So in this broccoli casserole, there's going to be 2 nice head of broccoli, or two nice florets of broccoli. I'm using 3 cups of cheese in there. That was some nice extra sharp cheddar cheese. I stuffed 2 cups into 1. And then I bought some Monterey Jack cheese. I'm going to put a cup of that Monterey Jack cheese in there to balance out that extra sharp cheddar. Okay, we're going to get all the cheese dumped in. And as before, we've made the cheese sauce together before. Same recipe, nothing different. Get all my cheese off in there. Okay. And to that, I'm going to add 1 chicken bouillon cube. Gonna let that melt down real good. Get that cheese all melted through there. When I get it all melted in, of course, I'm going to pour it over the broccoli, and then we're just going to put it in the pan. Real simple dish. You know, I cook easy and simple dishes so that it doesn't take all day in the kitchen. So this meal here is just not going to take that long at all. So I'm going ahead now. Like I said, I'm getting my cheese sauce done. See there how that cheese is starting to melt, and that bouillon cube is going to melt down in there. And when it gets melted down pretty good, I'm going to also put a tablespoon of flour to make sure that it's nice and thickened like I want it, so that that sauce will stick to the broccoli. But all I did to the broccoli was 2 heads or 2 florets of broccoli. Cleaned them up real good. Cut them up. Boiled them for about 10 minutes. And cut them into nice sections. As you can see, let's see right there. Let's put them over here. You can see them good. There's the broccoli already done in the pan. And when that cheese sauce gets ready, I'm just going to simply pour it in there. And we're going to get it going in the oven. And I'm going to have to run it through the oven for about a good hour. If you were tuned in earlier, I did that blueberry cobbler. I want to tell y'all, it's got my whole house smelling just like a bakery. Blueberries smell good anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and let that cheese sort of melt down a little bit more. I'm not going to cook it a whole lot, because when you cook it a whole lot, it will curdle on you. So I think it's to where I need it now. The cheeses have melted, and that bouillon cube is just about melted. And so to that, I'm going to add, to thicken my cheese sauce, of course I told you I needed to add some flour to it. So I'm going to do just about I'm going to start with a tablespoon of flour. And what I want to do is just put a tablespoon of flour. I'll mix it with a little bit of water just to make it not a liquid, but sort of a paste like. And that way I can know how much I need to add. So I'll just add it until it gets as thick as I want it to be. So I got my flour and water all mixed up together here. And now I'm going to start adding it to the milk and the cheese. By the way, I've got 3 cups of milk in that pan. And make sure you keep that heat sort of low, because if you don't, that sauce will stick on the bottom. We don't want it stuck and getting all brown and weird looking going. So, okay, just stir, stir, stir. And that chicken bouillon cube is what I'm using for my salt pretty much in this dish, because the cheese is salty, the bouillon cube is salty, and also while I was cooking the broccoli, I poured about a half a tablespoon of salt into that water as I was cooking it, so it was not bland, because you know me and bland food, I don't like bland food. So I'm just sort of cooking this cheese sauce Trying to see how much more. And basically because you know, climate has a lot to do with things that thicken and things that rise. So you just pretty much want it not thick where it won't go through all of the broccoli or whatever you're pouring there. Even if you, same sauce basically that I use for mac and cheese. I probably put a little bit more different cheeses in my macaroni and cheese than I do in this, just because it's macaroni and cheese. But I think what I've done and what I've added so far, I think that's going to be quite enough of thickener. And because with the sauce, again, you have to watch it. You can't have it cooking too high, so you have to sort of wait on it to thicken. You know, as the heat hits it, it'll thicken. Okay. I just tasted a little bit. It's good. It's yummy good. So I'm believing that that's going to be enough thickener in that cheese sauce. So the next thing I'm going to, also what I did too, so I don't forget, I did put a stick of butter into this broccoli. I just cut it up in pieces. It's all melted now, but I just put my stick of butter into here. Or you could have put it in the cheese sauce, it doesn't matter. But there's a stick of butter in this casserole. I'm going back and forth. I'm trying to make sure that I watch my blueberry cobbler, because I don't want it not to do right. I've only put it in for 45 minutes so far, but I'm sort of watching it. And for those of you who tune in, that video for the blueberry cobbler is on a different upload, but it'll be part of the Sunday dinner. So okay, see, that's thickened nicely, and I think I can just add the rest of that little bit, and I'm going to be okay, because I think that sauce is about as thick as I need to be. So this was a tablespoon of flour in that water to pour into that cheese sauce just to thicken it up. But like I said, we've done this recipe before, so I'm sure those of you who tune in all the time remember the recipe for my broccoli casserole. And as you can see, it's a very simple recipe. Very simple recipe. And again, what I'm going to have along with this broccoli casserole, I'm just going to fire up some chicken drumsticks today. And that's going to be the meat. So we're going to have some nice creamy sour cream potatoes. When I get ready to do those, I'll just tell you everything that I've got in them. But they're basically simple. And guess what? They're out of the box. Mashed potatoes out of the box. And of course, you know, they're Food Line brand. So we'll go through that. It's very simple. You just prepare them according to how it tells you on the box. Not a big old deal on that. And I'll tell you my extra ingredients that I add to it just to make them a little bit better. So now, over here to the side, I've got my dish waiting to pour my casserole into. So we're going to get the camera pan in on that red dish right there. And let's get it over here a little bit. I'm trying to stay out of the wine cellar. My wine cellar is just to the left of that dish. You know, I do everything right off the top of the stove right over here in this little area. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going to pour that cheese sauce. I don't want to make it too much. I always make what I call extra to make sure that I got lots of cheese sauce. When my folks sit down, they want a lot of everything going on. So I'm going to just pour a little bit more of that, because then I'm going to take the rest of it, I'm going to pour it right on top of this casserole. So all that's left to do now, guys, is pour it in the pan. This dish right up here a little bit. So I'm going to pour it right in the pan. There it goes. And you know me, I'm going to scrape the bottom of the pan to get every bit of that goodie out of there. I don't waste anything. I don't know. I just always like this. My grandma cooked like this. When she got through scraping the pan, it was practically clean. You thought she'd already run it. Well, we didn't have dishwashers back then, but you thought she'd already run it through the dish pan to get it. Okay. So now we got that broccoli casserole in the pan. And it's ready for the oven. That was a big piece right there. So I didn't do any kind of spray to the bottom of the pan because of the kind of dish that it is. So I'm just going to take the rest of this cheese sauce and just run it on top of there. Just run it right on top of there. And there again, I'm going to have to get all the goodie out of the pan. Let me get my utensil back over here. Tell you what, that spatula will get every bit of it out of there. Okay. Oh, I did good, y'all. I didn't no brown stuff in the bottom of the pan, so I did pretty good. I had my heat just right. So now we're ready to run our broccoli casserole through the oven. There it is. And I'm going to cook this approximately 1 hour, because by the time it gets done, guess what? The flavor train will be pulling in. So I'm going to sign off for a few minutes and go ahead and get the broccoli casserole in, and I'll come back and just give you a few quick tips about my fried chicken. Okay, so toodaloo for justice. Okay, y'all, I got that fried chicken going in that pan. Can you see it? It's moving right along. Those are some fried drumsticks. And of course, I seasoned them last night so that flavor will go all the way through them. Salt, black pepper, onion powder, and of course some turmeric. Just season them up real good and put them in a bag and let them sit overnight. And then I'm flouring them with some, I use some biscuit flour, and I also use a little bit of a breader. Put a little bit, just mix the biscuit and some breader, because you know biscuit will brown really quick, so be careful with that. You need to mix it with something else, but it has a good flavor. And while I'm cooking legs, I always cover them just to make sure that they get done all the way through. And I cook them about 10 minutes on each side. My children are real funny about fried chicken. As Tanya puts it, she don't like no loose meat, or she don't want nothing watery and soft in the middle of that chicken. So I always do it like that, and that cooks it and keeps it juicy. And about the last minute or so of cooking, I'll take that lid off and flip them over one time to make sure they're nice and crisp. So when I get through frying this chicken, and I've got my milk here and my some onion powder, some garlic powder, some sour cream in this pot. I'm going to do my creamed potatoes. I'm just letting that boil off real good. I'm going to take it off the heat. And of course, you know, you do mashed potatoes according to how the box is. And of course, like I said, to the mashed potatoes, to my taste, I add some sour cream, onion powder, garlic powder, and some black pepper, just to add for that extra added seasoning. Just whip them up with some good old butter, and man, that's going to be a good dish. This is going to be one of those real simple Sunday dinners, nice and cool. They haven't even paid attention to the fact that I made a blueberry cobbler, because usually I don't do a lot of sweets baking because we eat so much other food. But we're going to have fried chicken, creamed potatoes, and that nice broccoli casserole. As soon as it comes out of the oven, I'll show you what the finished product is going to look like. So hang on just a minute.
It's going to be a trip.
Okay, y'all, there it is. Sunday dinner, fried chicken, broccoli casserole, some creamy garlic and potatoes, and of course we're going to put Texas Pete on that chicken. And up there is our dessert for the day, that good old blueberry cobbler that they haven't even noticed it yet. But anyway, that's Sunday dinner, y'all. They get ready to dig in, so toodaloo.